Hey, Dr. Tim Terlep here with our second installment of 5 Minutes to Vitality, our weekly video log regarding pertinent health topics that hopefully you'll find informative and helpful to try and get the vitality that you were designed to have. So this week, what I want to talk a little bit about is a piece of research that was actually released at the 63rd Annual Scientific Symposium for the American College of Cardiology, and it kind of segues off of our last segment where we talked a little bit, actually a lot of it, about how nutrition, when mom is eating, can genetically affect the expression of the baby. Well, what we've found now is that nutrition in our youth, particularly between 20 and 30 is where we were looking. Well, research previously had shown us, and we know, that higher vegetable and fruit intake in people 40 and 50 years old, if they're eating more and more vegetables and fruits at that time, will significantly decrease the incidence and the likelihood that there could be a stroke and or heart attack. Well, what we weren't sure of is exactly the extent that actually an elevated vegetable and fruit consumption would have if people actually consumed that earlier in life. Well, what we did is actually, well, we didn't do it, but what actually researchers did at the Minneapolis Heart Institute is started a study about 20 years ago, where they were looking at people and they did analysis of how much vegetable and fruit people ate. And they followed these people for 20 years. And then we've done studies with something with a fancy thing called a CAC, which is it's a level of cardiac arterial calcification. So it's done with a CT scan, and pictures are taken of the arteries of the heart and measuring the thickness and the density of calcium in the arteries of the heart itself. Well, this is actually one of the best predictors, actually not one of the best, it is the best predictor of future potential for cardiac dysfunction that we have today. Well, what we found was actually these people who actually were consuming the highest amounts of vegetables and fruits, and it was 9 to 10 servings of vegetables and fruits per day, had a greater than 40% reduction of heart attack risk and incidence than people who consumed lesser. Now, it sounds like a lot when people actually think about it and say, oh my God, 9 to 10 servings of vegetables and fruits, if it's all I'd be eating all day long. Well, and that really wouldn't be that bad of a thing, believe it or not. You might get a little bit bored unless you learn how to cook and prepare them a little bit, but it's really not. What that translates to is about 2.5 cups of vegetables and 2 cups of fruits. So think about a cup. I mean, literally, that would be, what, a medium-sized apple and a quarter more, a good-sized peach plus a few grapes. It really isn't. A banana would be 3/4 of it. I mean, it doesn't take that much to actually create 2.5 cups of fruit and a couple of cups of vegetables. It really is easier than you think, so don't be disheartened. One of the things that we looked at is that this 40% reduction was as that compared to people who were still eating 3 to 5 servings of vegetables and fruits per day. So some people would look at it and say, well, gee whiz, I am eating a good amount. But again, it's that higher level that created a significant reduction in presentation. So think about it again. We talked a little bit before about how eating what mom eats dramatically affecting the genetics, turning genes on and off in a baby. And now we're looking at higher vegetable and fruit consumption earlier in life, significantly affecting what happens later in life. So we know it actually can improve it even at that moment. A 50-year-old eating more vegetables and fruits can enjoy a significant reduction, but wow, eating that way back can dramatically slow down any arterial changes. Because what's in vegetables and fruits? Well, there's lots of things that decrease inflammation. There are antioxidants. There are fancy things called phytochemicals, all the minerals, things that will decrease that inflammatory presence in the body, the stickiness of the inside lining of the blood vessel walls. And so this plaquing that we get, the hardening, the calcification, all that stuff is actually mitigated and minimized through proper diet. Again, proper lifestyle, better lifestyle towards what we were actually designed to do, creating that vitality that we were destined to have. So be not dismayed if you didn't eat well when you were 20, 30 years old and you're 35, 50, 55, 60, 65. As I've already mentioned, you can eat a better diet today and still dramatically affect your health benefits tomorrow and later. It's really quite an amazing phenomenon when you consider it. So I have a lot of patients who actually will say that they were disheartened because they're 65 and they ate poorly. And I really want to emphasize that vitalistic force, don't underestimate it. The more you can affect your lifestyle with better diet and more activity, the better off you can be. I sure appreciate your joining us again for 5 Minutes to Vitality. I'm Dr. Tim Terlep. Thanks so much.